Billy, exciting topic today, how to empower athletes. But we got a quick announcement for everyone that watches, whether you're watching on Billy's page, you're watching on one of my pages. We're putting together a mental skill seminar at the end of this month. Super excited because really what's lacking is players don't have that opportunity to get that training. Obviously, they go for the physical training, which is crucially important, but we're narrowing in, we're focusing in on this mental skills seminar. So whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this on the replay, check out mental skills seminar. You can either message me, you can message Billy, depending on where you're listening to this at, watching this at. February 28th, Sunday, February 28th at 2 p.m. I'm excited for this thing, man. Any notes you want to jump in there before we jump into this topic today?
Yeah, well, you kind of mentioned what I wanted to say. Everyone's getting ready with the physical skills. Teams are starting to practice indoors, getting ready for baseball season. Spring is, just around the corner, thankfully. I'm looking forward to spring. But yeah, so, everyone's training the physical skills. We're going to train the mental aptitude on, how to prepare for competition. We're getting our bodies ready. Now, how do we get our minds ready to also, be at an elite level of competition?
100%. We got some cool stuff for that seminar, but let's jump into today's topic, is how to empower young athletes. So this is specifically for parents. I'll let you take it away, man. I'll let you grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah, I was interested in this topic. I think it's really important, for parents, for coaches, for trainers, for teachers, anyone that works with kids or works with other people. One of the most important factors in helping someone is to empower them, which means, in my opinion, it means to get them to help themselves. So, as outside entities, we can only do so much for another person. That person has to want to succeed. They have to want to, obtain their goals. They have to want it for themselves. And a lot of the times, parents, coaches, teachers can get in the way of what an athlete actually wants, whether it's the athlete trying to please them or trying to, conform to society, conform to what other people want them to do, when in reality, the most important thing is, what does the athlete want and what does the athlete desire for themselves?
Yeah, what do they specifically want? Not what do they want because that's what they think their teammates want, or not what they want because that's what they think that their parents would want, or not what they want because that's what they think their coaches, but actually allowing them that freedom of choice.
Yep, exactly. So, maybe my high school coach wants me to play on this like elite travel team, and we talked about this before. These elite travel teams aren't actually elite, they're just who has the money to pay for a travel team. But that's a conversation for another day. But if your coach wants you to play on this elite travel team, maybe you don't really have the money or the time, over the summer after your high school season, and you don't want to play for a travel team, but your coach is like, oh, it's going to get you looked at, colleges will look at you. You'll be more likely to get recruited, by a D1 school. And that's all bullshit, because what the athletes should be doing is, what pertains to them and what's going to get them better for next season. Maybe they don't even play over the summer. Maybe they just train, try to get stronger mentally and physically to get ready for the next high school season, or maybe they take a few months off, then play in a fall season, whatever. But the athlete needs to know kind of what's better for them. And that's where the parent comes in. So, kids actually know a lot of stuff. Kids are smart, very intuitive. They know what their bodies need. They know what their bodies are craving, what they want, but they're just kids. So that's where parents come in to help them, kind of guide them along, see what the athlete actually wants and empower them to make a decision and empower them to control their own lives to reach their destiny.
Yeah, and really from this perspective, what we're talking about is like coaching your son or daughter as a parent. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're a parent first and foremost, right? But if the athlete wants, let's say, a scholarship to play college baseball, for example, right? Don't you think there's a difficult part of this where it's like allowing the athlete to just go do whatever they want, and then influencing them and persuading them to do the necessary tasks that they need to do to achieve that outcome. Does that make sense?
Yes. So the athlete's actions are going to tell you as the parent what they really want. You know, if they're saying they want to play college baseball, but over the summer all they're doing is lounging on the couch and playing Fortnite, maybe they don't want to play college baseball as bad as they say, which is totally fine. Not everyone has to play college athletics. You know, some people are just in sports to have relationships with their teammates, to get active, to get outside and have fun. And that's totally fine. But if your athlete is telling you he wants to play college baseball, his action should depict what he actually wants. So hopefully your athlete, if he does want to play at the next level, is, you know, focused on his nutrition, focused on his sleep, focused on, you know, who he hangs out with. That's also very important in this equation. And then hopefully they're doing the physical things that they need to do to get ready for the next season or to get ready, you know, to play, you know, the next night or whatever. So by maybe just closely observing your son or daughter and seeing, you know, what their actions are telling you instead of what their words are telling you, I think it paints a much clearer picture of what they actually want through their actions.
Yeah,
so that's one, is to figure out what the athlete really wants. Because sometimes they might be telling you something completely different from what their heart is telling them.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Actions speak louder than words, 100%. And that sounds like exactly what you're saying. So it's, you know, there's steps to this process, right? So what do they want? And then what's the plan for getting there? And, you know, from the parent's perspective, then you can help them with that plan. You know, if the goal really is, and this is just a hypothetical of playing college baseball, this is not the ABCs of you know, how to play college baseball for anyone that's just jumping in. This is about really empowering your son or daughter in a sense of athletics, right? So if the hypothetical is to play college baseball, but they're laying around on the couch, maybe they really do want to play college baseball, but they don't have a specific plan for, you know, chunking down all of the steps, right? Because that's, you know, say if you're a freshman in high school and your goal is to play college baseball, you might be overwhelmed by all of the different things that you have to do, or you might just not know all of the things that you have to do. So so then you can come in as a parent, then instead of forcing them, you know, to do something, all of a sudden, you know what they want to do, and you can help formulate a plan. You can help formulate this roadmap for how to get there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard to get someone to do something through force, which may sound kind of counterintuitive, but the real way to get someone to do something that you want, shouldn't even be the question, actually. It doesn't matter what the parent wants, but to get someone to do something that they need to do to get where they need to be is to, first of all, be available. Be completely transparent and honest with what you think they should do. And also the simple question of, what can I help you do to achieve your goal? That should be the parent's motto in this. Not, you need to go work out, you need to go hit, you need to study. No, what can I do? How do I foster an environment where you can, you know, train yourself to become that elite athlete or elite student or elite speaker or whatever, you know, your son or daughter desires to do? This goes broader than just athletics. This goes into, you know, life goals.
Yes.
You know? What do I want to do? You know, what are some of my goals and my desires? So the parent has to be available. So first of all, find out what your athlete wants. Number two, be available to help them, you know, maybe provide them with some resources such as some discussions like these on mental training, or like our mental seminar, or buying them, you know, the books, maybe a book that they want to read, or a movie or something that they want to see. You know, there's a lot of info on YouTube too that's great for kids for mental training. But like you said, sometimes kids don't even know what to do. You know, I'm a freshman, I'm 14 years old. Like, how do I get to play college baseball? And that's when you reach out to other parents or coaches who know what the hell they're talking about, or people like us. Not that we, you know, we don't know everything, obviously, but we have an idea of how to play college baseball or to play at the next level. So reach out to those people and find, how did they get to that position? How did they keep working hard to get to where they need to be? And then you can provide them with the resources that they need to really reach their goals.
Yeah, going back to what you said about forcing somebody, I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Damon John, the guy on Shark Tank, the creator of Fubu. Yeah, he was on a podcast I was listening to yesterday.
Love that guy.
And he's talking about what it takes to create a successful business, and this applies to being a successful athlete too, right? One of the key ingredients is obsession. And obsession isn't having somebody else force you to go do it. Obsession is, it doesn't feel like work. Obsession is going to do it because you love it. Obsession is thinking about it all day, every day, even when you're doing other stuff, right? It still comes up. Those thoughts still come up. Now, obviously it's not to distract you from those other things, but it's constantly on your mind because you love it so much. But it has to be a freedom of choice. And this is the whole point of this talk that that we're presenting today, is that it can't be forced from somebody else. It has to come from an inner, not only in your mind. So here's my take on this, right? There's multiple parts of us, right? The two big parts are the thinking side, and that's where a lot of young athletes get into trouble, right? What do I think my parents want? What do I think my teammates want? What do I think my coach wants? And then there's actually the emotional side, right? Coming from your emotions, coming from your heart. And that's the desire, the passion, the emotions behind actually wanting it. And that's what we're talking about, allowing the athlete to come from this place rather than this place.
Yeah, that's very well put. Right. It's always better to come from the heart than the mind. Exactly. But yeah, for me personally, I really don't like when people tell me what to do, stand in line over there. I'm like, screw you, bro. I don't feel like standing in line over there. Or like when I was younger, my parents, tell me to clean my room, do my chores. That's the last thing I wanted to do when I was told to do it, and maybe if like parents would back off a little bit and kind of let your child, experience life on their own, and to an extent where they're not going to like hurt themselves or do any self-harm, of course, but allow them to make their own mistakes and learn from them, with real life repercussions. You didn't do your assignment because I wasn't down your throat telling you to do it, and now you're failing that class, and now you might not be eligible for baseball season. So that's a real life consequence rather than like a fake consequence put on by the parent of, you didn't do your assignment, now you can't go out with your friends.
Yeah.
We'll respond much better learning from that real life mistake, real life consequence of, oh shit, now I'm not even eligible. I better get my act together and turn that assignment in and start focusing more on my grades so I can get, to actually play on the field. So then go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I want to get together what I was going to say anyway.
No, I just wanted to play devil's advocate for a second, because I agree where you're coming from. But on the other side of things, there's people that are like masters of persuasion and motivation and influence, right? That I'm happy that some people persuaded me to do different things in the past. I'm happy that people motivated me to do different things in the past. On the flip side of it, there's been a lot of times that people persuaded me to do something, and I don't want to say I regretted it, but it wasn't in my best interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. I just kind of want to get your 2 cents on what about being persuaded towards going down a particular direction.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I think that external motivation can only do so much. It can kind of guide you on the right path, which is what parents are there for, to put you on the right path and then let you make your choices, let the athlete make their choices on their own. So that external motivation only goes so far. The external motivation isn't going to get you to play college baseball. You got to want it in here. You got to know that you want it, and you have to, go after your dreams on your own. So yeah, it's great to say, like, maybe your athlete, you see him working out or you see him studying really hard, And positive reinforcement tells them, oh, good job, Jimmy. I see you're working your ass off. In school, your grades are better than they've ever been. You're getting ready for baseball season. You're doing a great job. You're on the right path. Instead of, Jimmy, you better do your work or else you're going to be ineligible for school. And Jimmy's like, well, screw you. I don't really care. You're always telling me what to do. So that's kind of where I come from, is the athlete has to make their own choices and their own mistakes to actually learn from them. It's really hard to learn from a mistake that was kind of forced on you than a mistake that you brought on to yourself. Does that answer your question?
No, I agree, but I'm just trying to think back and try to see things from different perspectives too, in a sense of what about coaches that have persuaded us to do something, right? And it was in our best interest, and it was in line with what we wanted. So it is a complex subject. It is complex, and what we're talking about, but I know the intent. I know the whole purpose of this talk is really allowing the athlete to come from the heart, and I get that 100%. But along the way, there's going to be different paths that we can take. Route A, route B. Maybe my coach persuaded me to go down route A. Maybe so-and-so persuaded me to go down route B. But I think it should always come back to, what's coming from the heart, right? What is that passion? What is that desire? So
yeah, I think providing
my sense on that.
I agree. And I think providing a choice is more effective than forcing someone or really persuading them to take this path. Here's this choice, lay it out for them. Here are the benefits of it, and here are maybe some negative, repercussions from this choice. So if you clearly, lay out, the steps of this decision, and not only the steps, but also how's it going to help you? How could it hold you back? And then kind of let the athlete choose from there, from my perspective. But everyone has a different idea on how to motivate. For me, it's more allowing the athlete to choose, providing them with as much information as I can to help them make an informed decision on what's going to be best for them.
Yeah, that's a great way to go about it, man. That's one thing I am super grateful for, is the freedom that my parents did allow me, to make not only decisions on my own, but to screw up on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think it's much more? I think it's a much better learning experience when you make a decision on your own and you fuck up or you screw up. Sorry for the PG-13 people on here, because you can live with that decision, right? Not somebody else forced you to do it and then you messed up, and it's like, oh, then you have spite, then you have anger, then you have frustration for that person that made you do it, right?
And then you're not going to listen to anyone else ever again.
Exactly, or definitely not that person that made you screw up, right?
Yeah, then you'll never trust them again.
Exactly.
That person provided you a choice, and then you made the choice, then you fucked up, then you're like, all right, at least they tried to help me out, and it was my own doing, my own decision that did me in, not them forcing me to take that route.
And I think that's a critical component to this whole thing, right? Because I've talked to a lot of athletes, and you can generalize this to people in general that are still blaming people from a year ago, 3 years ago. And I'm all for self-responsibility, taking responsibility for everything that happens, right? But there's still people pointing fingers of, so-and-so, did this, and so, maybe go through this scenario, and so jack off, and, I can't stand them. And to live your life, or to live, in your career, to live in your sport, blaming other people with this doubt, with this anxiety, with this frustration from 6 months ago, from a year ago, from multiple years ago, is not only is it unhealthy, physically draining your body, draining your energy, but it's mentally exhausting as well.
For sure. I mean, people still blame, politicians for the ills in their own life, and like that's
we're not going down the political route here. Yeah,
but that can go for anyone in a position of power. To blame someone else is not taking responsibility for yourself, so you'll never be able to live with that choice or that mistake. Not to bring politics into it, but that's what people do in positions of power. People people look at it as like, this person made me do it, when in reality they really didn't make you do it. They might have coaxed you into doing it, but no one's forcing you to do anything. We live in the United States of America. You know, we're supposed to be the freest nation. So free will is huge. Every person has free will. So every person can decide and must take responsibility for not only the good shit in life, but also, you know, the negative circumstances that happen around their decisions as well. We need to own it. Self-responsibility is huge. I'm glad you brought that up.
100%, man. 100%. We are at about the 20-minute mark, man. Is there, obviously we could go on this forever, man, but we both have busy schedules. What is one big nugget that you want to leave people with?
Well, I think we can give them those like 4 steps really to follow to empower your athlete. So number 1, I think there's 4. Number 1 was to find out what your athlete really wants through their actions.
Actions, so yes.
Observe their actions, see what their actions are saying they truly want. Number 2 is to be available. You know, ask the question, what can I do to help you achieve your goals? How can I foster, you know, a learning environment for you? Number 3 is to provide them with, what is 3? 3 is to provide them with reinforcement. So positive reinforcement, there's 3 steps. To have you know, if they're doing a good job, to tell them they're doing a good job. You know, you did that really well. Maybe this thing you messed up a little bit, but this other thing you really did a good job of. So observe what they want, you know, through their actions, and then try to provide them resources and positive reinforcement along the way, and let your athlete make their own choices, make their own mistakes, and, you know, let them live with it.
Yes. And if I could add just 2 cents, let them come from the heart and not always the head. So anyways, always a pleasure, Bill. For those of you just jumping on, February 28th, Sunday, February 28th at 2 p.m., we got a live in-person mental skills seminar in Harrisburg. We can get you the address, whether you're watching on Billy's page or my page, let us know. We'll get you the details. Super excited for it. But anyways, Bill, it's always a pleasure, and we'll see you next week at 12:34.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, man.
Peace.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please smash that subscribe button down below and leave your questions in the comment section, because that's the inspiration behind these videos to help serve you guys specifically with what you're struggling with. And if you'd like to take things a step further, check the links in the description below. If you're interested in our coaching, if you're interested in checking me out on other platforms and connecting with me there, if you're interested in some of our other free training, definitely check it out in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next video.